What's up, guys? Are you looking for a heavy-duty, double adjustable tie rod for your Polaris RZR 900 Trail? Well, SuperATV has you covered, and today we're going to show you how to get them installed. Let's get right to it. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and remove both front wheel and tires. Next, we're going to be disconnecting our tie rod from our knuckle. It'll be an 18mm nut. Sometimes your tie rod will be stuck in your knuckle. So what you want to do is take two hammers. You'll take one, lay it right here on the steering arm on your knuckle, and take the other one and just smack it until it comes free. Do not hit the threads on your tie rod end, because if you ever wanted to use this or anything like that, you'll damage the threads. So now that we've done that, what we're going to do is cut our wheel all the way to where this tie rod's the most extended point. So now we're going to go ahead and remove our clamps off of our boot. This outer clamp here, you can just take a flathead screwdriver, slide it in there and twist it, and it'll just pop right apart. And you can just slide it off the tie rod. And then the inner will actually have a zip tie on it. So what we're gonna do is take a pair of side cuts, reach up in here, and we're gonna go ahead and cut that zip tie off. So once we have our boot loose, what we're gonna do is slide it over our inner ball and socket, or the inner tie rod. Just pull the boot down out of the way. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna position our tie rod to where we can get our pipe wrench in here. So we decided to go with an adjustable wrench because this inner ball and socket has two really nice flats on it to where we can get to it. I would say 90% of the time you're gonna have to use a pipe wrench, but on this specific machine, we were able to just pop an adjustable wrench in, and now we're just gonna unthread it all the way. Once you get it loosened up, you can just grab the tie rod itself and start turning it, and it will spin the inner ball and socket right out just like that. So now what we're gonna do is go ahead and discard the factory tie rod. So now we're gonna grab our inner ball and socket. We're gonna grab some blue Loctite and just go ahead and apply it to the threads. And then we're just gonna thread it right in to our rack and pinion. Now we're just gonna fully tighten our inner ball and socket. You wanna get this inner ball and socket really tight. Then we're just gonna go ahead and grab the small boot since we're working on the passenger side. We're gonna slide it over the inner ball and socket, as well as the threads on our tie rod. And then we're gonna grab the provided zip ties and securely fasten it to the rack and pinion. We're just gonna take this zip tie and we're gonna slide it all the way back, and you're gonna feel a lip on your boot. You wanna make sure that that zip tie sits down in that lip completely. You want to get that zip tie as tight as you can. Then we'll just take our zip tie, put it on the outer portion of the boot there. We'll take a pair of side cuts and cut off the excess of both of the zip ties. Then we're going to take our nut that was on the inner ball and socket and thread it all the way up as far as it'll go. Then we're going to grab our tie rod One side will be right hand thread, one side will be left hand thread, so you'll just have to kind of check and see. And I'm going to thread this up about halfway. So something like that. Now we're going to grab our outer tie rod end, and we're going to go ahead and thread the nut on it. And remember, this will be left hand thread. Just going to thread it in. Again, halfway is what we're looking for here. Then I'm going to go grab the steering wheel. I'm going to get the steering wheel perfectly straight, and then we're going to attach our tie rod to our knuckle. So we're going to take our tapered stud out of the hardware kit. We're going to slide it right into the hole in the knuckle here where the steering arm is. Slide it through there, grab one of our nylock nuts, get it started on the bottom threads. Then we're going to take our tie rod, get it slid down onto our tapered stud. And we'll grab a misalignment bushing, drop it on, then our nylock nut. So I know my wheel's perfectly straight. As you can see, this one is pretty far out. So what I'm just going to kind of adjust around a little bit here until it gets somewhat straight. Obviously, we're going to be setting the toe. But now I like to get a 19 wrench and a 19 socket. And we're going to fully tighten our hardware. So once we have it fully tightened, we'll go ahead and get the cotter pins that are provided in the kit, slide them through, and then bend them away from themselves. So it should look just like this. And we're just going to repeat all these same steps for the opposite side. So now that we have our tie rods installed on both sides, we're going to go ahead and reinstall our wheels and tires and then set the machine down on the ground and get it settled so we can set the toe. So now we have the machine back on the ground. We have Corey in here to help us. We're going to be settling the suspension before we set the toe. So we're just going to roll the machine back and forth about 5 times, cut the wheel both ways just to make sure our suspension is fully settled. All right. Now, Corey, will you make sure that steering wheel's straight for us? Awesome. So now what we're going to be doing is taking a measurement from the center line of each tire. So we're going to measure from here to here, and then we're going to do the same thing on the back side of the front tires. Okay. And it looks like 1,080 millimeters. So as you can tell, we're a little bit toed out because we're wider in the front than we are in the rear. So we're going to adjust accordingly, remeasure, and then we'll go ahead and fully tighten all our hardware. So to adjust the tie rods, what you're going to do is grab a hold of the tie rod bar and spin it either way depending on what your measurement is. And whenever you do get it set, you want to make sure that your distance is pretty much the same on the front of the tire to the rear of the tire. If anything, you want the tires to be toed in about 1/8 inch. Once you've made all your adjustments, you have your tires set about 1/8 inch toed in. Be sure to check both of your jam nuts and make sure they're tight. And that's all there is to it to install SuperATV's heavy-duty tie rods on this Polaris RZR Trail 900. Be sure to check the description for a link to pick your tie rods up today. And while you're there, drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.